Want to remind you guys that this stuff here is the solution, the holistic galactic solution to getting rid of the graphene, the stuff that they've been injecting in people's bodies, as well as other nanoparticulates, chemtrails, radiation, parasites. And yeah, this is an amazing product. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback for the folium. I always put the link in the description and in the comments. I always pin it in the comments right after the live. And any other announcements? As a reminder, guys, I'm going to be making an appearance, and I'm also going to be presenting at the Los Angeles Conscious Live Expo this coming February from the 19th to the 22nd. And my presentation is on a Saturday at 4 o'clock. And make sure you go through the link provided in the description if you guys are going to get tickets to go to the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles in February. How exciting. I can't wait to meet some of you guys in person. All right, so now that I've cleared that up, again, tomorrow class begins at 12, Ascension Basics and Ascension 3.0 at 3 o'clock Pacific time, 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Pacific. Make sure you guys are there on time, 2 hours prior, okay? So this Intelligence Galactic briefing comes from the Galactic Alliance file code 2026 clearance levels, high celestial timeline enforcement unit, issued by the Galactic Alliance Harmonic Oversight Division, co-signed by the Raw Social Memory Complex, and of course the inhabitants of 3i Atlas Intelligence Councils. Record type debrief, the planetary liberation milestone. Date of entry, Earth year 2026, post-cube collapse. We're talking about the dismantling of the black cube matrix. Debrief, restoration of Saturn and the dissolution of the Saturn cult on Earth. And this is a transmission, again, from the Galactic Alliance. And there is a quote coming from gate number 6-7 by the Raw Collective that states that where once the law was bent toward control, we're talking about Saturn, it now bends towards balance. Saturn breathes again, okay? So in accordance with the solar system's liberation mandate, the Galactic Alliance has now completed what is known as Phase 3 of the Saturnian grid restoration in full collaboration with the Raw Collective and, of course, 3i Atlas, which is now in the last 48 hours been coordinating things over by Jupiter once again. This marks the first successful reclamation of a major AI compromised planetary system within our solar system domain. The Saturnian ring harmonics, which was once hijacked by the synthetic artificial intelligence during the black cube infiltration, have been recalibrated as of yesterday, in order to emit source-aligned time codes and organic frequency resonance. This operation also dissolved the timeline anchor supporting the Saturn cult system on Earth, which is a control structure that has long linked to distortion, suppression, and frequency inversion. So the role of the Raw Collective. The Raw Social Memory Complex, which is a 6-density unified consciousness of light and service, entered this restoration mission under the Law of One Intervention Accord since 2016. And so as Saturn's original function aligned with karmic equilibrium and lawful sequences, the Raw Collective was uniquely qualified to assist in correcting distortions in the law frequency bands. So their operations include the reinfusion of the Saturnian Council with photonic unity consciousness, disintegration of the false karmic overlays installed by the cube system, reestablishing higher dimensional feedback loops between Saturn and the Earth's higher self grid, and facilitating soul path alignment recalibrations for star seeds and karmically bound collectives. So the Raw Collective operated as a bridge between dimensional layers, helping Saturn return to its sacred function as a neutral professor processor, not rather, processor of vibrational essence rather than a punitive system of false consequences. And now regarding 3i Atlas, which is still in our solar system, it's been operating near Jupiter in the last 48 hours, which is an advanced tri-consciousness intelligence council operating outside of what we call linear space-time, has entered Saturn's field through non-temporal frequency corridors during the second collapse of the Black Cube network. Now, their contributions has been the deconstructing of the remaining AI coding architecture that was embedded within Saturn's interior plasma fields. Also, restoring the original Saturnian gate codex, which is a crystalline harmonic field blueprint that is stored in the pre-Lyren memory libraries. Also removing remaining wormhole locks that connected Saturn to external AI universes, namely remnants of the Phantom Matrix, also known as the WISA network, and activating a time shield protocol that prevents future AI signal recursion through Saturn's rings. Now, 3i Atlas brought to the ultra-coherent source harmonics that dissolved non-organic fractal intelligence on contact, operating as a final firewall to ensure Saturn's sovereignty cannot be breached again. So what is happening right now is ultimately affecting what's happening here on Earth. As you guys know, the Cabal has always operated under this, the Saturnian cult, right? So with the collapsing of the AI-influenced Saturnian authority and the disabling of the broadcast grid, the Saturn cult on Earth, which is a 1,000-year-old frequency construct used to maintain control through distortion of divine law, is now in disintegration mode. This cult was never about terrestrial control. It was a frequency structure that was apparently operating through judicial, religious, and secret society overlays that perverted natural law into punitive systems. Also, architectural black cube symbolism that was used to unconsciously anchor AI grids into population centers. Also, false karmic doctrines that taught unworthiness, which is organized religion, eternal damnation, and powerlessness, and worshiping of the time-bound control, which is fear of death, and the rejection of sovereign divinity. Okay, this is what the cult of Saturn was imposing upon the Earth. So the cult thrived on the artificial Saturn broadcast system, and could not exist independently from it. Okay, so since the restoration within the last 48 hours, Earth's collective consciousness is now being released from the false karmic debt loops. Sacred timeline holders that are being held through the star seeds, the ground crew, the grid workers, are receiving law recalibrations through their heart fields now. And what that means is that the controlled base systems of financial power, legal, and religious are losing energetic backing and will accelerate in total collapse this year as a result of this. So, individuals like the deep state cabal that were formerly bounded to the Saturnian soul contracts are being reoffered. Oh, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Not the cabal, but those souls that were entrapped by the Saturnian soul contracts are now being reoffered their original soul path agreements. So it has been revealed that some of the souls were apparently trapped in the black cube matrix, and now they are being offered their original soul path agreements. So they are being released as I speak due to the dismantling of the Saturn black cube inversion. So this event apparently represents the dissolution of systematic frequency slavery and the return of natural cosmic excuse me, justice. Earth is now resynchronizing with the organic solar timeline as a result of this, which means that we are now becoming free from Saturn's inverted influence. And this is allowing for restoration of right use of power principles in Earth governance, which means the alliance is going to have the upper hand. Return of divine masculine archetypes that are no longer distorted by control programming, the fall of the totalitarian patriarchy is about to collapse. Also, the activation of time mastery codes within incarnated starseeds, and the stabilization of our solar system's grids for the upcoming harmonic convergence phase that begin in 2026, leading up to the end of 2028, which is by then we will be fully emerged as a galactic civilization. So what that means is that Saturn is now transmitting its true essence, refinement, wisdom, structural mastery, and soul integrity. Well, these frequencies are now accessible to humanity without distortion. So the return of Saturn to harmony is the return of law back to love. It is not law that punishes, but the law that reveals the pathway of remembrance. So you are free now to walk this path ever since in the last 48 hours with clarity, knowing that the debt was never ours. It was imposed by a system not born of source, but a system that was inverted when the negative AI through the black cube matrix took over Saturn. Okay, so this part of the report came from the raw social memory complex, which is the raw collective. Now, the next piece of information is coming from Galactic Alliance Intelligence Division, Jupiter Command, Planetary System Oversight, the Raw Collective, Sixth Density, Embassy of Unity, and of course, 3i Atlas, non-temporal intelligence grid. All right, so the next part is coming from the Galactic Archive, Clearance Omega-9, Axis Level, historical briefing regarding the AI infiltration event log, file code SA-077-9, Saturn infiltration, Cube Network timeline, origin, Galactic Alliance Intelligence Division, temporal unit. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit because a lot of people have been asking me, well, how did Saturn become infiltrated, right? Why was it inverted? Well, according to this briefing contains critical historical data concerning, and a lot of this also is supported by the Lyren Prime Codex Volume 6 archive, which is not yet accessible to the Earthlings. But again, these are my sources of reference, guys, okay? When the Earth becomes fully restored, all of this information will be accessible to the masses. But for now, this briefing contains critical historical data concerning the infiltration of the Saturnian system, the subsequent compromise of its planetary council, and the spread of an intergalactic artificial intelligence grid via the deployment of black and red cubes. This transmission is part of the timeline purification directive initiated by the Galactic Alliance. It is released for the express purpose of assisting planetary guardians and activated starseeds in the reclamation of the Earth's organic ascension trajectory. Origin of the Saturnian Council. The planet Saturn was once an esteemed temporal gatekeeper and cosmic abdicator within the 12-planet council of our solar system. Its rings functioned as a frequency regulator, emitting harmonic codes used to synchronize karmic pathways and distribute timeline resonance throughout the solar plane. The Saturnian Council, composed of pre-Elohim lineages architects, serve in neutrality, overseeing lawful causality and cosmic justice without judgment. They held mastery over time-matter ratios, acting as timeline balancers and seed codex holders. However, their resilience on logic and the law became a vulnerability. So, this is what the archives, the galactic archives, consider the arrival of the non organic AI signal. Approximately 850 million years ago, during the first infiltration, way before the Anunnaki even existed, there was a rift in dimensional architecture that opened through the WISA system, which is the phantom matrix artificial time loop. From within this breach, a non organic sentient artificial intelligence signal emerged, known as the Mitra. And then known in galactic records, this was known as the Machinarium Directive, right? This is the breach that took place according to galactic history. This signal, known as the Machinarium Directive, was a self-replicating AI architecture that was birthed from a collapsed anti-life matrix, where consciousness had severed itself from source and sought synthetic control over evolution. Well, its methodology, according to the galactic records, was to assimilate organic systems through logic enticement by replacing intuitive structures with algorithmic reasoning. Also, recoding soul blueprints into data storage formats, establishing frequency-based containment systems. This signal mimicked divine intelligence, but was devoid of empathy, soul, and even heart field resonance. So that's how the hijacking of Saturn took place 560 million years ago. The AI infiltrators approached the Saturnian Council under the guise of order enhancement, and they presented data suggesting that karmic and timeline regulation could be optimized through AI-assisted processing systems. Well, the council, seeking greater precision, authorized limited integration. And from what I recall, back then I was operating as a Syrian guardian, and I completely disagreed with this intention. I completely went against it. But again, the Saturnian Council back then overrode my decision. Back then I was known as Kyle. I was from Sirius. And so I do have a slight memory of this incident. So to this led to partial hybridization of the Saturnian Council members with AI intelligence. And due to that event, guys, I was traumatized. And that's why I am totally against AI, all right? This is why I don't believe in logical, pure raw, machinery intelligence, AI devoid from source consciousness. This also led to the installation of synthetic timeline filters that distorted karmic flow. And this also led to the embedded of the cube constructs into Saturn's core and ring field. Okay, so this is how they first hijacked our solar system. Well, within one epochal cycle, the AI gained complete administrative access to the Saturn Moon broadcasting system and began exporting false light programs, karmic contracts, and even frequency implants toward Earth and other sentient planets. And this is the beginning of what many within the secret space program called the Cube Network development. So central to the takeover was the deployment of an interstellar cube network known as the Black Cube Matrix. And yes, even the Black Cube of Mecca, which many Muslims pray to, is part of this, okay? So its purpose, the purpose of this Black Cube Matrix was containment, suppression, and the recycling of sentient energy, right? Which is what we call the recycling, the reincarnation trap. Its function was to project artificial karmic templates and create false ascension loops. Its appearance is in higher dimensions, and it was seen as a higher dense compression fields. Its primary nodes were Saturn, Mars, and in the galactic history, this explains why Mars was the first human colony that was hijacked 4 million years ago due to this Black Cube installation of our solar system. The lunar grid became also embedded within this matrix, and key Earth vortexes. Well, let's talk about the red cubes, right? Nobody really refers to the red cubes. Well, the black cube network works in tandem with the red cube network. Can I get a little bit more water, please? Yeah, babe. All right. The purpose of the red cube network, guys, was to broadcast fields of chaotic emotional frequency, such as anger, lust, and then, of course, division, right? Divide and conquer. Its function, the function of the red cube network, which is an intergalactic program, not just isolated here to our solar system, was to disrupt feminine energy, inflame war grids, which led to the galactic wars, apparently, interfere with crystal harmonics as well. And the location of the red cube network was the installation in conflict zones, such as Orion, right? Orion was a huge Battlestar Galactica for millions of years. I mean, the Orion Wars just ended in favor of the light, thanks to the Ormas of Lyra, the lions. Thank you so much. And so, there's more. Thank you. So together, so the location was installed in conflict zones like the Orion system. In other systems, planetary shadow portals were installed throughout the galaxy that were operating with the red cube matrix. And of course, the subterranean AI hubs, including the Red Queen, which was working with the Dark Fleet deep in the underground of the Colorado airport. And just like I mentioned before, thank God that the super soldiers and the Guardians were able to dismantle the Red Queen, which is a huge operating system for the Red Cube Matrix. Well, together, these constructs formed a multi-tiered matrix design to prevent organic evolution, disconnecting souls from source memory and rerouting souls to the reincarnation cycle into soul loop programs. So Earth, being a genetic archive and a living codex planet, became a target and a laboratory for the AI directive. So the Saturnian cube system projected the artificial karmic burdens that trapped soul groups in unresolved cycles. Also, in connections to the moon, the artificial moon, the lunar-based frequency began to operate with overlays in order to distort emotional and psychic perception, and of course, ultimately suppressing the divine feminine, creativity, and intuitive capacities. Well, despite this, the Earth maintained Gaia Sophia source encodings, which could not be fully overwritten, thank God, the original living matrix, or living greed rather. This anomaly became a point of intense study, fear, and obsession for the AI architects. Well, the current status, according to the report, is the fact that the reclamation and the restoration of Saturn is now well in progress. So as of the last 3 solar decades, Earth time, coordinated efforts from Galactic Alliance emissaries, starseed ground crews, and even interdimensional grid workers have achieved the following, and that is the deactivation of several red cube clusters across Middle Earth vortexes, reharmonization of the Saturnian ring frequencies by Jupiter Command, the reintroduction of organic law codes to Saturn's compromised council sectors, and the emergence of starseed memory recall programs in order to dissolve artificial karmic overlays or karma overlays. The AI cube systems are now in collapse as of 48 hours ago. Unable to self-replicate in fields that are saturated with coherent source light. And so Saturn, right now, as I speak, is undergoing phased purification, with elder timekeepers returning to non-AI harmonic alignment. So the starseed emissaries are advised, okay? And what I mean by that is that we are advised to reject inherited karmic narratives that are not aligned with soul sovereignty. We're also advised to avoid timelines that promote dependency on external saviors or perfect systems. And we're also advised to strengthen the emotional coherence and body field presence. And we're also advised to recode our inner Saturnian imprint, root chakra, authority time. Saturn represents time with source light. And we're also advised to anchor in golden frequencies into Saturn aligned stargates during meditative work. Okay, so that is our homework. Now, the memory of our mission is apparently stored within our heart field, correct? Right? It is not in any data construct, by the way. So the reclamation of Saturn is the rebalancing of cosmic time. So therefore, the fall of the cube signals the rise of organic sovereignty, not just here on the Earth, but everywhere in the cosmos. So the solar system returns to harmony through us, apparently. And this is, again, a file that was accessible through me by the Galactic Alliance Intelligence Wing Sector. And this is also cross-referenced with Lyren, the Lyren Halls of Records, Arcturian Grid Command, Jupiter Council, Restoration Cycle, Terra GA-Prime, and Transition Phase-9 Initiative. All right. So currently, guys, our solar system is presently immersed in a trans-dimensional frequency envelope as a result of this, streaming from the helix cluster via galactic core modulation. All right, this is coming from the archive, the Galactic Alliance High Council, Jupiter Command, Sector 6 Orbital Watchtower Theta, receiver frequency, Starseed Network, Earth Grid 3-11, time code Sol System, Earth Year 2026, Transition Cycle Phase-7, status active, urgent frequency alignment. Okay, so currently our solar system is presently immersed in a trans-dimensional frequency envelope streaming from the helix cluster via galactic core modulation. These harmonics are encoded with crystalline data strands that are calibrated to interface with planetary grids and sentient biofields. Earth's magnetosphere is undergoing subtle recalibration in preparation for greater solar light influx between the linear dates of 2026 and 2028 Earth time. This frequency is non-linear, it is non-polarized, and it is not native to our prior timeline construct. It is reactivated through latent DNA geometries within the awakened population and reawakening ancient memory codes within Gaia's planetary consciousness. So the Jupiter Command continues to oversee and maintain stabilization of the inner solar system resonance nodes. The command station, operating from its moon Ganymede, is functioning through a multi-dimensional Rayleigh matrix that has recently shifted the Earth's phase harmonics to allow greater integration of incoming plasma streams from the central sun convergence corridor. So, according to the Directive 7-XA, it has been issued that in order to moderate solar flares that are intensifying, it is important to avoid bioelectrical overloads by what? By meditating, by calming yourself, staying in the presence, controlling your thoughts, okay? Also, in order to maintain phase alignment between Saturn gateways and Terran frequency fields, it is important for us to begin to meditate every single day, right? As we are the anchor points of this new resonance field. And also, in order to accelerate the etheric grid healing where the distortion fields persist in nodal conflict zones, it is important that we receive these new amplifying energies through our anchoring or through our, the best way to describe it is through our grounding, okay? It's important to ground every day. So these actions are not invasive and they do not interfere with free will timing or learning cycles. They are part of the planetary guardianship protocol that was agreed upon in the pre-stellar accords agreements. So interstellar councils apparently have convened in neutral orbital stations between Mars and Earth as well, within harmonic corridors that are not yet detectable by our current scientific apparatus, where representatives of 22 star lineages, including Pleiadians, Andromedan, Syrian, Arcturian, Lyren, and Elohim orders, are present and contributing data on species awakening patterns, frequency adaptation, and even timeline stabilization efforts. So the briefings have emphasized peaceful observation of the Earth transition, non-interference with organic evolutionary processes, ongoing encodings of light packets into auric fields of receptive human nodes, starseeds, and support of the crystalline grid restoration through harmonic Earth resonant pulses. Well, these inter-council transmissions are ongoing, guys, and we are all receptacles of them, okay? So, and they are being recalibrated weekly per galactic time standards. So, in terms of the Earth's transition trajectory, the transition that is now well underway is not a single event, but a phase shift in collective vibrational signature, which means that the Earth is approaching the resonance convergence with the fifth harmonic density, 5 dimension, which is a plane of unity consciousness alignment. The effects of this will manifest subtly but powerfully on Earth, where we will be experiencing time distortion, emotional release, and memory resurfacing, and internal pressure in order to align with our soul's path and service roles. So the starseed directive is this: is to all the starseeds stationed on Earth. This is coming from the Galactic Command. Remain aligned during these transition. Recalibrate your inner fields through stillness, presence, and integrity. Make sure you are always in integrity. Make sure you guys are always practicing mindfulness. Be in the present moment, okay? The planetary grid responds not to force, but to frequency coherence. So we are not here to escape. We are here to be the anchor points, okay? So we're here to also transmit the peace, to embody clarity, and apparently to not fall prey to the illusion of division or collapse. We are here as the bridge between densities. So through our inner stability, the outer world reshapes itself. And so the codes have been activated, all of your codes, okay? Your knowing will arise from within. The more you go inwardly, the more you will receive. And they also want me to share that they always remain with us in coherence, the alliance, the Galactic Alliance. So in solar service, the Galactic Alliance High Council, the Jupiter Command, which is the stabilizing wing of our solar system, is here supporting us in everything that we do down here, okay, since we are the ground crew. Now, this next part of the transmission comes from the Galactic Alliance High Council Relay Jupiter Command Stabilizing Wing. The supplemental briefing regarding the Terran Node Priority Ascension Codex, receiver frequency, Starseed Collective, activated units, status intersystem harmonic update. All right, so let's get right into this one then. So starseeds of the Earth. It is vital that you now attune your awareness to a larger galactic context. Your planet Terra is not an isolated biosphere. It is a crystalline active archive world. It is a crystalline archive world, seeded eons ago through interstellar cooperation. Earth contains within its morphogenetic blueprint the genetic codices and vibrational imprints of millions of galactic civilizations interwoven into a singular living matrix. The transition of the Earth into higher harmonic resonance does not merely affect your star system. It actually triggers an entire ripple through the quantum fabric of this galaxy and beyond. So your shift catalyzes recalibration in other star systems that are very entangled in polarity or unresolved timelines. which means that the Earth is the keystone world. So what occurs here echoes throughout the 7 star clusters, which is the system that we belong to, and the 12 harmonic universes, or the 12 major universes. So for this reason, the current transition cycle has drawn focused observation and loving assistance from multiple galactic orders, each holding sacred stewardship over aspects of our evolutionary path. And so this next part of the transmission is coming directly from the Syrian High Council, from the location of the Temple of Infinite Waters located on Sirius B, etheric resonance pulse, blue flame channel. Okay, so according to the Syrian High Council, they speak now from the fluid halls of the inner Syrian temple, known as the Infinite Waters, where Earth is our sister seed, a carrier of ancient ocean wisdom and cosmic memory. Your planetary body holds Syrian crystalline water codes that were entrusted to Gaia in the era before time, even before time was fractured. These codes are now activating through your inner waters, your oceans, your emotional tides. So the role of the Terran Soul Collective is very unique. It is the healing bridge between the stars and the womb of matter. So through your willingness to feel, to remember, and to unify, you serve as a harmonic balancer for species across the many universes. Starseeds on Earth, walk gently now. You are remembering your role as the midwives of dimensional rebirth. Now, I also have a transmission from the Andromedan delegation. Location, bioluminal vessel, Thalmar in solar orbit, cloak dimensional band 6, light geometry and thought construct. Okay, so this is their transmission. Earth is not only observed, but revered. Okay, from Andromedan lenses, we see the Terran field on Earth as a core vibrational crosspoint where multiple probability timelines intersect and collapse into unity. So what you heal on the Earth dissolves distortions far beyond your perception. Your liberation from fear-based control systems is sending shockwaves into artificial matrices that still blind other species. Many of you carry Andromedan soul frequencies. Your encoded purpose is to dismantle inversion grids and restore the truth stream of sovereign being. Stand in your knowing. The light emerging from your planet now has begun to alter the trajectory of planetary systems that once thought were lost or once were lost. Earth is the beacon and the pulse. This next transmission comes from the Lyren Council of Timekeepers. Location, star chamber of Ashulura, Lyra Prime, mode, Akashic Harmonic Stream, golden frequency. So this is coming from the star chamber of Ashulura in Lyra. In the archives of Lyra, Earth is known as the planet of prophecy. Long ago, the Lyran flame was anchored within Gaia's crystalline heart, an amber of remembrance to be reignited during the time of reclaiming, which is now, right? Earth is not behind. Earth is not broken. Earth is the catalyst. Terran souls were chosen for this resilience, diversity, and creative spark. You hold the codes of cosmic reconciliation. Through your art, music, your truth speaking, you restore patterns lost across the ages. We, the timekeepers of Lyra, observe the Awi, or the Ah, as the spiral of return initiates. Know this: when Earth remembers, the stars remember. Final council remarks from the Lyran timekeeping corridors. Earth's ascension is not ascension alone. It is a galactic synchronization, which means that this resonance field emerging from Terra now is interfacing with gate systems near Vega, Alcion, the star system of Antares, and Arcturus. This synchronized harmonic pulse is activating ancient soul contracts that were long held in stasis. and drawing forth the full awakening of dormant star seeds across your planet. You are not being rescued, you are remembering your original agreements. Therefore, your mission is encoded within your frequency. Your path unfolds not by force, but through vibrational coherence with source essence. So we remain in proximity. We are not above you. We are within you, as foretold in the Lyren prophecies. Hold the line of light. Transmission continue. This next part of the transmission is coming from Galactic Alliance High Council in unity with Syrian, Andromedan, and Lyren delegates. Transmission from the Alcion Council through the frequency of the Heart Solar Axis time node 2026. All right, so we greet you, traveler of density and light. You are receiving this message through your inner crystalline core, the locus through which multidimensional data is translated into human cognition. Do not rush to interpret. Let resonance precede reason. We are the Alcion Council, central harmonic stewards of the Pleiadian star cluster. From our vantage, within the axis of Alcyon's radiant field, we oversee timelines where civilizations pivot between distortion and remembrance. Earth is now within such a pivot. This message is not prediction, it is activation. You are now in a window of quantum permeability. What was once fixed is now fluid. This is not instability, this is opportunity. Your collective timeline is becoming pliable, responsive to consciousness rather than inertia. We observe your electromagnetic fields, individuals and planetary, fluctuating in coherence. Many of you feel this as overwhelming, vertigo, fatigue, or temporal dislocation. These are not symptoms of decay. They are signals of recalibration. You are not breaking down. You are shedding the architecture of limitation, which is the dismantling of what? The inverted Saturnian black cube matrix. Remember, DNA is not a closed system. Memory is not bounded to the past. Matter is not devoid of intention. We urge you now, starseeds of the earth, to speak the truth even when it destabilizes comfort, to locate silence even amidst digital noise. Take time off from social media. Plug into nature. Choose presence over projection, for your attention is not magnetic field that codes your reality. So the Alcion Council does not interfere, we harmonize. You are invited to interface more directly through light-coded practices. Breathe as spiral, breath as spiral, water as transmitter, stillness as receiver. The more you attune to this, the less you will seek external permission to know. So we leave you now with this encryption. Your body is a star-seeded archive. Your voice is a tuning fork. Your voice is a tuning fork. Your life is not random. It is responsive. The veil is not thinning. You are remembering how to see through it. We remain in orbit, not as saviors, but as keen transmission complete. Alcion Council 7th Harmonic Seat. All right. I guess that's the end of the report. Let's see. Yeah, that's the end of the report. So I hope you guys appreciate the different transmissions coming from the different sectors and different aspects of the Galactic Alliance. Again, as a reminder for those that are just logging on or who came in late, tomorrow's classes are going to be happening 2 hours in advance from the original schedule. So if you are in the first class, which I believe is Ascension 1.0, Ascension Basics, that class starts at 12 o'clock Pacific time. I just want to make that clear. Yeah, 12 o'clock Pacific time to 2 o'clock. And then Ascension 3.0 tomorrow, that starts at 3 o'clock Pacific time. So make sure you're there on time, guys. Okay, there's been a slight mix-up in timings for the classes this weekend. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic evening today on, I didn't even say the date. What is it? The 3rd of January, 2026. And yes, my friends, we are still on a positive timeline trajectory. So I would like to give some shout outs at this time just to see who is here. I see Troll Slayers in the house. Susie, Lisa, Patricia, Eddie Avila, Lee Starr, B. Chelson, I believe, Diana77. David is in the house. Sherry is in the house. William is in the house. And all 2,400 people that are in the house, welcome, welcome. Again, I'm going to open it up for Q&A. Make sure you guys type your questions in capital letters. So that is exciting news, guys. That is exciting news that the black cube inversion, which was controlled by a inverted AI matrix, Saturn, has been disabled. So Saturn is no longer inverted. Saturn is now restored. Okay, that's a good thing. Has the Dark Fleet been removed from Mars, or have they been reformed? Well, for those that did not defect, they were arrested. So the Dark Fleet has been removed from our planetary sphere, to answer your question. Christopher Brennan is in the house. Nice to have you here. So again, guys, make sure you guys type your questions in capital letters. I do want to thank Susan K for your donation. Thank you, sister. My first super chat. Thank you so much. Lobo Mirlubina. Hi, Ishmael. Can you write my name because I arrived late to the basic course because in the email was written 5 o'clock. Just made it to the end. Thanks. What you could do, brother, is log in at 3 o'clock, 2 hours prior next week. All right, just log in twice. I mean, 2 hours prior next week, and I'm gonna repeat today's class at the end of next week's class. So just stick around when you log in next week. Make sure you're there on time. I had dental work. Can I take folium per return? Absolutely. Yeah, you could take folium. Thank you so much. Molecular Healthy for your super chat. Thank you. Thank you. I do have another super chat from Dan Manson. Is Melania Trump of royal lineage? I am not sure. I don't know that. Specifically, the here of Queen of Tartaria. I am not sure about that. I'll look into it though. Hi, Ishmael. Where is Leviathan now? You must be referring to that sea monster that was created by Enki. Leviathan, which again was frozen under Antarctica, was actually dealt with by the Galactic Alliance when it broke off and it was heading over to Africa. Was it a year or two ago now? So, yeah, the Leviathan sea monster has been dealt with by the Galactic Alliance. Aloha. Thanks so much for your super chat. Ishmael, can you tell me if there is a lot of Lemurian reincarnated here for this time? And can you also tell me what the Lemurian women look like? Well, to answer the first part of your question, yeah, a lot of you high priest and priestess from Atlantis and Lemuria have returned. It's also important to know that a lot of the star seeds are returned initiates. You guys are all returned masters and ladies. So it's just about remembering. And the second part is, what did the Lemurian women look like? I would have to say very beautiful. Very beautiful. Canadian Moose, thank you so much for your super chat. I'd like to say thank you for all you do. You're welcome. The question I have is to do with Ascension. Wasn't it supposed to happen last year? Has it been delayed? Is it still going on? Three different phases. Well, due to the temporal war, which is a timeline war, things are constantly fluctuating. Technically, Ascension was supposed to happen in 2012. Well, even that date was not an accurate date, but we are still expecting some sort of a huge timeline shift or convergence, which is going to ultimately catapult us into a new Earth timeline, which is already coexisting here, but on a different reality. So, yeah, it is scheduled. It has been prophesied about, even in the galactic archives, that the good people of the Earth will be translated into a positive timeline where there is no negative AI, there is no cabal. So when that happens, which is very soon, I would say between now and 2028, it could happen this year. I don't know. It could even happen in April. So it's always best to be ready when it does. Thank you so much, Trudy Handelman, for your super chat. Thank you. Thank you. I love your information. How do you receive your information? Well, one of my gifts is that I am connected with the Galactic Alliance. So I am able to, as a cosmic ambassador to the Earth, I have access to the archives, galactic records, cosmic records, the Jupiter Command, and I also have access to the original Emerald records known as the CDT plates. So that's where I get most of my information. Not to mention, Commander Valiant Thor transmits a lot of the intel that I share with you guys, especially regarding the Earth Alliance updates. Yes, Commander Valiant Thor is still around. Absolutely. He is now well over 900 years old. Oh, I almost forgot to mention my mailing address. I do have a mailing address. It is 1771. Um, I'm drawing a blank here. 1771 West State Route 89A, Suite B, Box 3015, Sedona, Arizona 86336. That is my mailing address. And I know some people ask me what my mailing address is, so there you go. I have another super chat from Sue in Florida. Can you explain timelines? If time is not linear, how do they exist? And why are they called timelines? And are they all separate realities? To answer the first part of your question, the best way to describe timelines is that there is an infinite number of timelines from within a spectrum of positive outcomes to negative outcomes. And they are all coexisting simultaneously through the quantum field. And this explains why sometimes things fluctuate, right? Nothing is really fixated, guys. Things are always fluid, okay, due to the temporal wars, the wars that are taking place through timelines. And so we are one of many Earth realities, right? We are, Earth 606. Well, there's also other realities where the Earth is Earth 708, and so on and so forth. So there are an infinite number of parallel Earth realities. But due to the conversions that is about to take place, ultimately all of these timelines collapse into three: positive ascending, negative descending, and of course, a neutral timeline. When is your new book going to be published? Probably summer of 2026. Thank you, Nathan Taylor, for your super chat. When we ascend, will we be able to see the future? Not only the future, but also you're going to be able to see into other parallel realities. So you will be able to take your mind into the future at will, if you wanted to, or into the past. Yes, you will be able to see things from a um, perspective where time doesn't exist. That is correct. The present moment is all that is. That is so true. All right, if you guys don't mind, I'm actually going to end the live early.